Well, there's another chance to see Jeremy Clarkson challenged with building the smallest of cars. That's at 7 here on BBC Two in Top Gear. Now, though, we check in on all the latest action from the Premier League with Dan Walker.
Man Utd 0.
Trying to avoid relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters.
The latest score is Wimbledon through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all remember. It was 2 fruitful weeks.
Hello and welcome to Final Score. After all the January jostling, the squads have been settled. There's 14 games to go for sides in the Barclays Premier League. This afternoon we've already enjoyed 2 hours in the company of Didi Hamann, and despite being spotted in his agent's car outside ITV studios, I'm delighted to say that Garth Crooks remains firmly a BBC pundit. And we want you to be part of the show as well today. Get in touch on Twitter using the hashtag BBC Football and via the live text on the BBC Sport website as well. We're here for the next half hour with all the scores and the post-match reaction for you as well. Now, this is how it stands in the Barclays Premier League at the moment for you. Very interesting games, both all over the country at the moment. Arsenal goalless at home. Fantastic game at Goodison Park. We'll hear about all these in a moment. Newcastle were leading against Chelsea, but Chelsea have come right back into that with fantastic goals from both Lampard and Mata. 1-1 between Reading and Sunderland. No sign of Adam Lafondra just yet, but I'm sure he'll come on as a substitute and maybe have some significance. In fact, he has just come on at the Madejski Stadium. No goals at Upton Park yet, where Swansea have been enjoying themselves in London on their recent travels. And it's 1-1 at Wigan against Southampton. We told you the goals have been flying in at Everton. In fact, we've had another one, a 5th goal of the afternoon for Will Perry to tell us about at Goodison Park.
It's been a fantastic game. It's now Everton 2, Aston Villa 3. Maro and Fellaini getting Everton back into this. A simple goal, a layoff from Victor Anichebe just outside the 6-yard box, and Fellaini curls his shot right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. 3 sloppy bits of defending. Everton had trailed 3-1 just a moment ago. Christian Benteke put the visitors in front after 2 minutes, walking through Heitinga like he wasn't there. Victor Anichebe level halfway through the first half. He outmuscled Kieran Clark and smashed past Brad Guzan. Then Heitinga failed to stay with his man again. Gabiak Bonlahor headed in from a beautiful cross from Ashley Westwood. Then Benteke got the 3rd for Aston Villa. On the counter again, another fantastic ball in, this time from Andres Weimann from the right. Benteke got the better of Heitinga. Again, 3 mistakes from the Dutchman to direct his header into the bottom left. But a lifeline for Everton. I saw Bill Kenwright, the chairman, in the toilets at half-time. He was not happy. He might be a little bit happier now. Everton 2, Aston Villa 3.
Blackburn 2 up. Jordan Rhodes has got yet another this season. His 2nd of the day for Jordan Rhodes. We'll update you on the Championship very shortly, but we're going to go to another incredible game, St James's Park. Another goal as well, just as we go and hear from Paul Addison, Newcastle Chelsea.
All square again, Dan, here. It's Newcastle 2, Chelsea 2. Goal scored by Moussa Sissoko, one of the new arrivals as part of Alan Pardew's French Revolution. One of the other new players, Gouff, ran through the centre. His shot parried out by Petr Cech, only into the path of Sissoko, who put it in to equalise. Earlier, Newcastle took the lead through Jonas Gutierrez. That doesn't happen very often. A glancing header from him gave Newcastle a half-time deserved lead. Chelsea turned the game around within 6 second-half minutes. Classic Frank Lampard with a 20-yard shot, and then beautiful finish with his left foot from Juan Mata inside the area. We're all square here. Anything could happen between now and full-time. 2-2.
Port Vale are the biggest scorers in League Two. They have another one for Lee Hughes as well. 3-0 up at home against Accrington Stanley. Garth, for those who watched on the BBC HD channel, 1-0 Newcastle. You predicted a 2-1 Chelsea win. You were right for a while. Prophet Crooks has gone a little bit wobbly again, though, because Newcastle back in it.
Well, I'd taken odds Chelsea winning the game from that position of being 1-0 down at St James's. It's 2-2 now. I think the save that Cech made originally was a good save, but he's put it right in the path of the danger zone for someone to slide in, and Sissoko does that. Okay. I mean, I'm seeing goal teams do it time and time again. You've got to push it wide. You've got to push it wide. And somebody of Cech's class should be doing that for me.
Burnley were in the lead away at Peterborough, but they're now trailing to Peterborough, who've held on to George Boyd, who didn't move to Nottingham Forest. Of course, 2 goals in 4 minutes for the bottom side. Tommy Rowe has got the second for Peterborough. Let's go back to the Premier League at the Medeski Stadium, where we mentioned Adam Le Fondre is on. Can he have his normal impact? A couple of goals there this afternoon. Tony Husband is watching them at home against Sunderland.
Yes, it's 1-1, Dan, and we have a crucial 17 minutes left in this very finely balanced game at the moment. And as you mentioned, Adam Le Fondre, who's been the super sub, of course, for Reading in recent weeks. He came on with 25 minutes to play, and Brian McDermott's thrown a new signing, Nick Blackman, a £1.2 million man from Sheffield United, onto the field in the last few minutes as well. Danny Graham, the new signing for Sunderland, remains on the bench. As to the game, it's been a good one. Reading started well. Kebe's goal 7 minutes in after a cross from McAnuff, but the equaliser from the spot, Craig Gardner, after a foul by Pavel Pogrebniak in the penalty area, which brought down John O'Shea. Interestingly poised, Le Fondre is on, they're singing his name. Will he be the comeback hero again? But of course, this is a game that Reading have led in, but 1-1 at the moment.
We'll see what happens. Some predictions from our men in the know here, by the way. Garth still says Chelsea are going to win it, and Didier has called from nowhere an Everton win against Aston Villa, despite being a goal down at the moment.
And by the way, to be fair to Didier, Villa are starting to panic.
OK, we shall see what happens. Let's pick up on the DW Stadium, where it's Wigan against Southampton. Wigan in need of the points. Southampton by no means out of trouble. James Mason is there.
Yeah, Wigan won, Southampton won, down. A tale of 2 halves and 2 captains here in a game set for a fantastic finish as both sides push for all 3 points. Wigan much the better in the first half and took the lead after some concerted pressure when their captain Gary Caldwell headed home his first goal of the season from an out-swinging corner. But in the second half, it's been all Southampton, attacked from the off and rewarded when their captain Ricky Lambert headed the visitors level from close range. And only moments ago, substitute Adam Lallana has seen a left foot shot rebound off the post. It's all Southampton at the moment. They look the likelier of going on to win this, but at the moment it's Wigan 1, Southampton 1.
About 20 minutes to go in our Premier League games this afternoon. Dietmar, Wigan. We heard from James there. At this stage of the season, we said on the top of the programme on the BBC HD channel, crucial that those sides struggling at the bottom of the table start to pick up points.
Yeah, and especially at home against a fellow relegation contender in Southampton. It's a big 20 minutes for them because they've got to start winning their home games. They brought a few players in. They let that lead slip again, a very good goal by Lambert again. And this is a big 20 minutes because they find it out. These bottom teams find it very hard to win away from home. Even more important, you win your home games.
Garth, what's jumping out from you from the Premier League elsewhere?
I think I've seen the beginning of the end. Ashley Cole has just been burnt off down the right-hand side by Sissoko. I've never seen it before. He beat him for pace, and Cole gave him, 2-3 yards? This kid, Sissoko,
got the
equaliser. This kid looks a player, but by goodness, I don't think I've ever seen someone do that to Ashley Cole.
Swansea have had a very good recent record when they've taken the trip to London. They're there this afternoon. They are taking on West Ham at Upton Park, and Jackie Oatley is watching, and she's watching a goal as well.
And finally, West Ham have scored, and it is Andy Carroll making his first start for the club since November after injury, powering home a header from a corner. 1-0 West Ham lead Swansea, and it is the least they deserve. I make it their 11th very good chance of the game. The goalkeeper, the second choice goalkeeper for Swansea, Gerhard Tremmel, has made several fine saves for them, most notably from Nolan in the first half. Carroll's had a couple of chances in the second half. Finally, they have their goal. Carroll with a header, West Ham 1, Swansea 0.
Big Sam Allardyce has been having a go at his team for their failure to take chances. Crucial when they've had all those chances. I think Jackie said 11 there, that Andy Carroll, who started the game today, comes up and scores an all-important goal for them.
Yeah, they missed a lot. Tremmel's been outstanding, but it's great movement by Carroll. The corner's coming in and outswinger from the left. He goes short, stops back. Williams doesn't know what to do, and then he goes again. He gets a couple of yards on him, and once he can jump, nobody challenges him. Once he can jump, he's up in the air, 7 yards out. Great header.
You may well have seen that Jack Buckland signed for Stoke in the transfer window and then was loaned back to Birmingham. Well, lots of people said, what's going to happen with Begovic? Well, today, according to Jonathan Ledyard at the Emirates, he's been very impressive, where it's Arsenal against Stoke, Jonathan.
He's been man of the match, without question. Hasn't had anything dramatic to do, certainly not as spectacular as in the first half when he defied Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain twice and Koscielny with a header. But you can't miss him in the garish orange And there's another foul. Walcott goes down. Arsene Wenger's frustrating again. He's gesticulating at the fourth official. He's been boiling quietly in his technical area, not just because he's wearing his sleeping bag, but he's getting increasingly frustrated. What he would term strong-arm tactics by Stoke, who've relied pretty much on sporadic breakaways. Wilshire's driving Arsenal forward, but as yet they still can't find a way through. 0-0.
The early game in the Premier League today was QPR against Norwich at Loftus Road. QPR remain unbeaten in 2013, but the guys in the studio were debating whether it was a good point or a bad point for them. QPR 0, Norwich 0, 4 consecutive draws, the game watched by...
Hard, attritional battle that, Harry. One you needed to win, one you should have won. How do you see it?
Yeah, one we should have won, yeah. Yeah, missed a penalty. We scored a penalty, we win the game. There was no doubt in my mind. If we'd have got our noses in front, then I think we'd have gone on and won, you know.
You can pick a team, you can bring transfers in, you can dictate tactics, work on them on the coaching field, but you can't take a penalty for your players, can you? Must have been frustrating for you watching on.
Yeah, but, you know, that's how it goes. And Adele, you know, he did some great things in the game. And, you know, anyone can miss a penalty. We've seen it over the years. So, but the actual effort of the players today, I felt, was outstanding. I couldn't have asked for more. And we're unbeaten since the turn of the year, you know. And when you look at the fixtures we've had, today was probably the one game where you felt, yeah, we need 3 points today. The other games were, you know, Chelsea away, Man City, Tottenham, West Ham away. They were probably games where you think, well, if we get a point, we've done well today. But today was a game we were really we needed to win. We couldn't have been more open second half. I mean, we played 2 up, 2 wingers. We went for it, and I felt, you know, if we scored a penalty, we'd have won the game.
That's a slightly disappointed Harry Redknapp. Now, big incident at the Emirates for Jonathan Ledyard to tell us about, where Chris Foy, the referee, and his assistant very much at the centre of it. Jonathan, what's happened?
It's a goal to Arsenal after long deliberations amid protests from Stoke and Arsenal players. Podolski, on as a substitute, took a free kick. Deflection off Cameron. Begovic, no chance at all. He went right, ball went left. But then the referee's assistant on the far side put his flag up and suggested that Giroud may well have been in an offside position, but he was certainly not interfering with play as the kick was taken. After deliberation, Chris Foy pointed to the centre circle. The goal stands. Arsenal have their breakthrough, 1-0.
Just at the bottom of your video printer there, Crystal Palace unbeaten in 13 home league games, and they are just drawn level. Glenn Murray getting the equaliser against Charlton at home. We'll hear about that shortly. But you think right decision on the Podolski goal?
No, absolutely, and I think this is very, very good refereeing. The ball is struck by Podolski, takes the deflection of Cameron, he goes in. The linesman gets his flag up because he thinks Giroud has been offside. He speaks to the referee says, probably, Giroud never touched the ball, it came off Cameron, and he gives the goal. It's a correct decision.
Good refereeing, Garth.
Yeah.
As far as the new rule goes, absolutely right. The referee said, yeah, he's offside, but he's not in that phase of play.
I'm not even sure whether Giroud was offside. Walcott was offside on the far post, who was nowhere near the ball. So, yeah, it was a good goal.
OK, so a contentious decision, but the right decision from the referee, Chris Foy. So we should probably say well done to the ref. Let's drop into the Championship now, where Cardiff started the day 7 points clear. And they went to Leeds this afternoon at Ellen Road. Derm Tanner is watching.
Where Leeds are trailing and Cardiff are leading by a goal to nil. Fraser Campbell had only been on the pitch for a couple of minutes. What a great start for his career at Cardiff, coming in the January sales, of course, from Sunderland, on the end of Bellamy's cross-come shot to help it over the line. Just a few moments ago, Leeds United's best chance of the second half. Leeds' header, point-blank save from Marshall. It started the place around here. It's beginning to pick up. It was a bit deadly before. It's Leeds 0, Cardiff 1.
So that would give Cardiff a 10-point lead at the top of the Championship. We heard about that goal at Crystal Palace. That was an equaliser, and we've had another goal there for Mark Webber at Selhurst Park. Which way, Mark?
They played like panel beaters in the first half. Now Crystal Palace are playing like world beaters. Glenn Murray on the double within 3 minutes. The first one loose in the area, low drive. Right now, defensive area by Charlton allowing to lob in on the near post. They were awful in the first half. Ricardo Fuller could have scored 2 or 3 for Charlton, but Kevin Phillips has come on as a substitute for Crystal Palace at the start of the game, and it's added a spark at Selhurst, I can tell you. Crystal Palace 2, Charlton Athletic 1.
In the last game at the Den, Millwall knocked Aston Villa out of the FA Cup. How are they getting on this afternoon? Nick Godwin is watching them against Hull.
Still Millwall 0, Hull City 1. Martin Wolford has just this second blasted a free kick wide for Millwall from the edge of the penalty area. The Lions have changed things in this second half and thrown 2 new strikers on. Rob Holson, Andy Keogh are leading the line now for Millwall. They're more effective and they've had the best chance of this second period. James Henry threw on goal. He had an age to get into the penalty area and pick his spot, and when he did, he got right underneath it and it sailed over the bar. Hull City, hoping to move back level with Leicester in the battle for the automatic promotion spots, are currently hanging on. They lead Millwall with about 13 minutes to go by a 1-0.
Alec McLeish is taking his Nottingham Forest team to one of his old sides, Birmingham, today. They were a goal down. Birmingham scored just before half-time. There's been another goal, though, for Steve Lee.
Yes, it's got much, much worse for Alex McLeish. A second goal for Chris Burke, the guy who scored the first goal. And the player, incidentally, McLeish tried to sign back from Birmingham this week. A tremendous goal too. Some great footwork from Nathan Redmond, the young star for Birmingham. He weaved in and out of the box, and then he picked out Burke as he ran in and converted the second goal. 2-0 Birmingham.
No one scored more goals in the Championship this season than Watford. How many have they got this afternoon? Let's find out. It's Watford against Bolton. It's Tony Lockwood at Vicarage Road.
It's Watford 2, Bolton 1 in front for the first time. The Hornets, Elman Abdi teed up by Matej Vidra, delivering the required finish. Marvin Sordell, against his former club, had given Bolton the lead from the penalty spot. Watford's response, Matej Vidra, an exceptional goal, twisting away from his marker and then finishing with his right foot. Abdi has given the Hornets the initiative. Bolton have made a triple substitution. It's Watford 2, Bolton 1.
I'm sure the home fans going to Portman Road were a little bit worried about the fact their team have only won 3 games there all season, the worst in the entire division. But it's looking a bit better today for Robin Bailey, who's watching them at home against Middlesbrough.
Certainly is. Ipswich 4, Middlesbrough 0. Middlesbrough's promotion bid seems to be unravelling before our eyes. They have been pretty awful today, and I'm not quite sure why they've been so bad, but the goals have been going in at the other end. A central defender's got a couple. Tommy Smith, the New Zealand international, has powered home a couple of headers, the first and the fourth, but McGoldrick and McLean have got their debut goals for Ipswich as well. That's important because Ipswich have needed a cutting edge in their relegation battle. They do desperately need to get clear. Mick McCarthy has been ill all week. He's not here. He's got a virus. But what a pick-me-up this is. Poor old Kieran Dyer on his debut for Middlesbrough. What a poor return for him. Although he hasn't played badly, he really hasn't had a look in. It's 4-0 to Ipswich.
Been plenty of late goals at the Medeski Stadium recently, and there's been another one. Which way has it gone, though? They take Sunderland on. Tony Husband.
It has gone to Reading. It's Jimmy Kebe, a brave header at the back post. A great free kick delivered deep into the penalty area from Ian Hart. Mignolet didn't come for it, and Kebe got it in off the underside of the bar. Just before that, Danny Graham on as a substitute for Sunderland had twice gone close, but at the other end, Reading have now gone back in front. 2-1.
And another goal for you at DW Stadium. James Mason, Wigan against Southampton. They're all going in.
And it's gone to Southampton, Dan. They've completely turned this game around in the second half. Morgan Schneidlin applying the final touch from Jay Rodriguez's pass from the byline. A wonderful breakaway goal. Wigan were on the attack when this started, but a wonderful long mazy run. Rodriguez gets to the byline, crosses the ball, and Schneidlin there unmarked to give Southampton a 2-1 lead.
Remarkable scenes in the Premier League at the minute. 3 of the bottom 5 are winning their matches this afternoon. We started this programme on the HD channel by saying how important it was, those matches. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, Pochettino on the sideline is going absolutely mental with his staff. He's enjoying it so much, but it's a great goal. The report is absolutely spot on. I think it's Rodriguez controls it beautifully on the left-hand side, evades a tackle, keeps his composure and picks out the goal scorer. It's a great goal. But the celebration for Pochettino is mad.
Diddy, what about Reading? Because when you start scoring loads of late goals, do you as players and as manager and fans almost believe that you can do it week on week? They just keep doing it. Kebe this time.
Yeah, it's a momentum thing, but we shouldn't forget that they conceded a lot of late goals as well early on in the season, and from winning position they drop points. But yeah, it does, because if you do it once, if you do it twice, you know you've got somebody on the bench in Le Fondre who comes on, who can change games, then it gives the whole team a lift and fills everybody with a lot of confidence.
You said you fancied Everton. Garth said they had the momentum and that Villa were wobbling. Let's find out what's happening. Will Perry is at Goodison Park. Still the same way, Will?
Still the same way. We've got, 3.5 minutes to play here at Goodison Park. Everton 2, Aston Villa 3. The Everton sub, Nikita Jelavic, had a brilliant chance a few moments ago. A close-range volley kept out and palmed away by the Aston Villa goalkeeper Brad Guzan. Another substitute for Everton, Brian Oviedo, fired just wide. Villa were 3-1 up, don't forget. They're a little up against it. They're starting to panic, as Diddy and Garth mentioned a few moments ago at the back. They're flustering a little bit, just as they did when they were 2-1 up in the first half. Don't forget, they haven't won since mid-December. You might remember that. It was against Liverpool. They've had a bit of luck on Merseyside. Brett Holman's just come on for Villa for the midfielder Karim El Amadi. This would be a huge win, wouldn't it, for Aston Villa? Can they hold on? 2.5 minutes. Everton 2, Aston Villa 3.
As Will says, did he? They won on Merseyside against Liverpool with a fantastic performance. Gone completely walkabout since then, and then back on Merseyside and a chance for another big 3 points today.
Yeah, they just dropped in the relegation zone last week. The 3 points will be massive for them. One thing about the pitch, the condition of the pitch is absolutely atrocious. I don't know what happened. If it was summertime, I said they had a concert or something there, but the standard of the pitch is shocking. I don't know what problems they've got there, but it clearly doesn't play into Everton's hands, the pitch condition.
Back in the Championship, it's been a busy one at Bloomfield Road today. We've had a couple of goals sending off, and now another goal for Neil Turner to tell us about.
It's now Blackpool 1, Barnsley 2. Jason Scotland, the scorer. Substitute Scotland battling through 2 rather weak challenges before putting the ball past the substitute keeper, Mark Hasselstead, who came on for Matt Gilks, who had been sent off for handling the ball outside the area. 1.5 minutes remaining. It's Blackpool 1, Barnsley 2.
That's one of the Battle of the Bees in the Championship. Here's another one for you. It's Blackburn against Bristol City at Ewood Park. It's Naz Premji with an update.
Blackburn Rovers 2, Bristol City 0. Jordan Rhodes with a double strike, the latest goal, a really good one. Ball over the top, and Rhodes held off a Bristol City defender before firing past Tom Heaton. They've been huffing and puffing of Bristol City, and plenty of effort and endeavour, but they don't look like getting back into this. And Blackburn are just seeing this one out with 5 minutes and injury time to go. It's Blackburn Rovers 2, Bristol City 0.
Peterborough, the bottom club in the Championship, has just gone through. They've just levelled up at 2-2. They were 2-1 up. Burnley has just scored. We can get some details now from Andrew James, who's watching that one.
Yes, Peterborough 2, Burnley 2 is the score, Dan. It was a good start for Burnley. Charlie Austin back in the side after injury, scoring inside a couple of minutes, his 21st of the season. A poor first half after that, but it all came to life with 2 goals in 4 minutes from Tommy Rowe, Peterborough's captain. Both close-in scrambles, although the second, a good swerving shot from the edge of the box after that scramble had proved fruitless from the Burnley point of view. But then Martin Patterson, on as a sub, ironically, for Austin, steered the ball home from barely a yard out to give Burnley that equalising goal. Peterborough 2, Burnley 2.
Match of the day is warming up very nicely. Another goal in the Premier League. Garth told us that Pochettino was enjoying himself on the sidelines. Is he once again? Another goal. Which way, James Mason?
He isn't. He's apoplectic with rage. Wigan 2, Southampton 2. And he's angry and waving his arms in the air because it was such a simple goal to give away. Sean Maloney ghosting in at the back post to slot home. Wigan looked dead and buried down. Southampton, from the start of this second half, have been fantastic. Attacked at will, and they looked like they'd got the 3 points in the bag. Well, they haven't, and there's still time to go. Wigan 2, Southampton 2.
Quickly, Garth, you think Everton should be down to 10 men. Why?
Well, Mike Jones has left Leon Osman on the pitch after a tackle on Joseph Bennett, which is just outrage. I can't believe he's still on the pitch. I mean, his foot's sort of waist high. He hits Bennett. He gets booking, but he shouldn't even be on the pitch.
And earlier on in the game at St James's Park between Newcastle and Chelsea today, Demba Ba went off injured. Torres came on after Demba Ba, in going for a goal, was challenged by Colaccini, and his nose all over the place today, did he? And you think that Howard Webb should have made a bolder decision on that one?
Well, he nearly took his head off. He has a shot. Cruel saves it. It bounces, and it bounces about 5.5 foot high, so Bart doesn't even go down where it could be a dangerous play for against the forward. And he heads the ball, and Colaccini hits him right in the face with his boot. It's a free kick outside the box. It should have been a penalty, a booking for Colaccini, and they didn't get the penalty they should have had. And we saw a couple of challenges here where Mike Jones made a terrible decision in that Osman case.
Just very quickly, Howard Webb also, I'm not sure that Cisse should be on the pitch either. He grabs Cole round the neck. Ashley Cole does brilliantly because he actually backs off, realises he's not going to retaliate, but I think Howard's missed that.
We've got to get around the country again. Sheffield Wednesday, not scored at Hillsborough since Christmas. That's certainly changed today. Peter Slater's watching them at home against Brighton.
Yeah, that's just the half of it, though, Dan. 4 goals, 3 sendings off. The earlier ones for Wednesday, Leroy Leety within 5 minutes. Danny Pugh the second from a free kick. After Brighton's Ashley Barnes was sent off for a 2-footed tackle on Kieran Lee. Second half, Brighton brought on Craig McHale-Smith. His pace set up a goal for Andre Orlandi. A minute later, though, Danny Pugh's corner and Antonio scrambled home the third. Then, altercation on the benches after a Danny Pugh tackle. The stewards weighed in. The police became involved. Wednesday manager Dave Jones sent to the stands. So too Brighton's coach Charlie Oatway. Not a great deal of love lost down there. We've got 3 minutes plus a fair bit of stoppage time to be added. And Wednesday are leading 3-1.
Hold on to your berets, everybody. A goal at St James's Park. Newcastle, Chelsea, Paul Addison.
Oh, what a finish here at St James's, Dan, and paying dividends. Alan Pardew's forays into the transfer market in France. Moussa Sissoko's second goal of the afternoon, coming right near the end of this game. David Santon heavily involved. He teed up Sissoko, who is an instant hero on Tyneside. Finish right along the ground. That beat Petr Cech, and Newcastle are ahead 3-2.
Every single time there's a goal at St James's Park, there's another one at Goodison Park. Will Perry to tell us about this one.
It's the 6th goal of the afternoon here at Goodison Park. In 6 minutes of stoppage time, Everton have got an equaliser. It's Everton 3, Aston Villa 3. It's going to be really cruel on Everton, on Villa, excuse me, if they go away with just a point here. It was a Leighton Baines corner from the right-hand side, and there was Fellaini to rise above Ron Vlaar and head right past Brad Guzan. Everton have a leveller. Everton 3, Aston Villa 3.
What a game. Mr Hamann predicted a win for Everton. We'll see if that happens, but there is full time and a win for Reading at the Medeski Stadium. They continue their run up the Premier League, Tony Husband.
Yes, and the roof almost came off the Medeski Stadium at full time. Not quite the late drama that we had on midweek against Chelsea here, but still it was the 85th minute before they got the goal. They got them the points they wanted. Reading resurgent, 6 unbeaten now. And Jimmy Kebe, the hero for them. He headed in 5 minutes from time from Ian Hart's free kick. It could have gone either way in the second half, really. Danny Graham, who came on as a substitute on his Sunderland debut, he'd twice gone close. Adrian Mariappa had hit the bar for the other side of the home side at the other end. 1-1 at the break, remember. Kebe had scored his first after 7 minutes. An excellent finish from inside the box. Sunderland finally woke up and deserved the equaliser, albeit from the spot. Craig Gardner scoring after John O'Shea had been fouled. But in that second half, 5 minutes from time, with Lafondra, of course, the super sub on for Reading, it was Kebe who stole the show, and Reading win 2-1.
Fellaini's just come close again for Everton. They continue to play at Goodison Park, 3-3 in that game. Full time though at the DW Stadium. Plenty of goals there as well for James Mason.
Yes, Wigan 2, Southampton 2. A historic day for the Saints. Their first ever visit to Wigan, and it should have also been their first win, but for a late goal from Sean Maloney. Gary Caldwell opened the scoring for Wigan in the first half, but as such is their weakness, they couldn't sustain a barrage of second half pressure from the visitors. Ricky Lambert, so often the Saints' saviour, heading in his 11th of the season from close range before Morgan Schneiderlin gave them a deserved lead as he finished a fine end-to-end move from Jay Rodriguez. But with time almost up, Sean Maloney equalised from close range. These two continue to struggle at the wrong end of the Premier League. It ended Wigan 2, Southampton 2.
Still playing at Newcastle, still playing at Everton. Full-time whistle at Upton Park, just 1 goal, but an important one for Andy Carroll, and Jackie Oatley can tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a big one. West Ham 1, Swansea 0. Andy Carroll's second goal for West Ham, his first here at Upton Park. A towering header from a Joe Cole left-wing corner in front of the Bobby Moore stand, and how they celebrated. West Ham fully deserving their win. They created far more chances than Swansea, who were pretty ineffective until a late rally. Dyer fizzed a low shot goalwards, and West Ham managed to scramble the ball clear. Nolan earlier could have had a hat-trick for West Ham. Carroll and Diami missed good chances. The keeper Tremmel, second choice for Swansea, made some fine saves, and it's only West Ham's second win in 10 games, ending Swansea's 7-match unbeaten run. West Ham 1, Swansea 0.
They thought it was full time at St James's Park. Newcastle players celebrating on the sideline. High fives from Alan Pardew. Full whistle hasn't gone. They're still playing.
They're still playing, yes. They hoof the ball forward. They try everything. Ivanovic gone forward now. Yeah, it looks like Newcastle is going to hang on. I think Chelsea's hard done by if they lose their game, because they should have had their penalty in the first half. And there's only seconds left now, and it's a big win for Newcastle.
Pardew's pointing to his watch, and still playing Goodison as well, Garth, where Brad Goosan, I think, has taken 8 minutes to take this spot kick.
Well, look, I said 20 minutes.
Oh.
That 20 minutes they started to panic. I mean, Chelsea have almost come close. Could have equalised there. They're convinced it's handball, but he's not give it. I mean, this has been such a controversial game. Torres is convinced it's handball. So is Frank Lampard complaining to Howard Webb. It's been littered with incidents and decisions by Howard that I'm not convinced he's got right.
It has finished at Goodison. What a game, what a match for Will Perry. And the full-time whistle has finally gone. The second time of asking at St James's Park. Newcastle, Chelsea.
Does this leave Rafa Benitez? The pressure would have been on had he earned a point. He's got none. Newcastle 3, Chelsea 2.
A very good question. I'm sure we will address that later. Ham beat Swansea today, so no smiles on that side of South Wales. But in Cardiff, they will be delighted. Yet another win. 10 points clear at the top of the Championship. They've beaten Leeds, Tanner.
Yes, and Leeds United missed their clear-cut chances. Cardiff took their only one. Fraser Campbell, 2 minutes after coming on as a substitute, scored a debut after his move from Sunderland. He clipped in the Bellamy shotgun pass. Leeds should have scored in the first half. Rods Barkley missed in front of goal, and Tom Lees had a point-blank header brilliantly saved by Marshall in the Cardiff City goal. So Cardiff maintained their healthy lead at the top of the Championship. Leeds battled bravely, but in the end they got nothing for it. Leeds 0, Cardiff 1.
You see there on the video printer, the Championship's top scorers. Watford have won again today. They've beaten Bolton. Let's go to the Den. Millwall against Hull. Nick Godwin full-time.
All over here, Millwall 0, Hull City 1. It finished the goal after just 36 seconds from David Myler after Mark Beevers horribly misjudged a back pass. Millwall was stronger in the second half. They had opportunities with James Henry, whose effort from 13 yards or so was brilliantly saved by David Stockdale. He was also put through on goal and he fired over. Andy Keogh was also denied in that second half. Hull's best chance towards the end of the game fell to Robert Corran, but that was turned aside by David Ford. Hull draw level with Leicester on points in second place. Full-time Millwall 0, Hull City 1.
It's been a breathless few minutes. Time for all the classified football results with Mike West.
And beginning with the Barclays Premier League. Arsenal 1, Stoke City 0. Everton 3, Aston Villa 3. The match between Fulham and Manchester United, an evening kick-off at 5:30. Newcastle United 3, Chelsea 2. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Norwich City 0. Reading 2, Sunderland 1. West Ham United 1, Swansea City 0. And Wigan Athletic 2, Southampton 2. On to the Empire Championship, Birmingham City 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Blackburn Rovers 2, Bristol City 0. Blackpool 1, Barnsley 2. Crystal Palace 2, Charlton Athletic 1. Derby County 3, Huddersfield Town 0. Ipswich Town 4, Middlesbrough 0. Leeds United 0, Cardiff City 1. Millwall 0, Hull City 1. Peterborough United 2, Burnley 2. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. And Watford 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. The Empire League 1, Bury 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. The game between Crawley Town and Swindon Town, an evening kick-off at 5:20. Crewe Alexandra 1, Scunthorpe United 0. Hartlepool United 2, Notts County 1. Milton Keynes Dons 0, AFC Bournemouth 3. Portsmouth 2, Colchester United 3. Preston North End 1, Shrewsbury Town 2. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 1. Tranmere Rovers 0, Carlisle United 1. Walsall 3, Oldham Athletic 1. And Yeovil Town 3, Brentford 0. The Empire League 2, AFC Wimbledon 1, Burton Albion 1. Cheltenham Town 2, Torquay United 1. Exeter City 0, Aldershot Town 0. Fleetwood Town 2, Bradford City 2. Plymouth Argyle 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Port Vale 3, Accrington Stanley 0. Rochdale 1, Chesterfield 1. Rotherham United 3, Northampton Town 1. Southend United 1, Oxford United 0. And York City 1, Morecambe 4. The Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Telford United 1, Cambridge United 2. Barrow 1, Luton Town 0. The game between Braintree Town and Lincoln City, match postponed. Forest Green Rovers 0, Wrexham 0. Grimsby Town 4, Alfreton Town 2. Hereford United 2, Southport 2. Mansfield Town 5, Dartford 0. Newport County against Kidderminster, match postponed. Stockport County 3, Nuneaton Town 2. Tamworth 2, Gateshead 0. And Woking 2, Hyde 1. Into Scotland and the William Hill Scottish Cup 5th round. Dundee United 3, Rangers 0. Dunfermline 0, Hamilton Academical 2. Falkirk 4, Forfar Athletic 1. Kilmarnock 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0. And St Mirren 2, St Johnstone 0. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, just one match today. Ross County 2, Hearts 2. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, the match between Cowdenbeath and Partick Thistle, match postponed. And Dumbarton 3, Livingston 4. The Scottish Division 2, Ayr United against Brechin City, match postponed. Queen of the South 0, Alloa Athletic 0. Stenhousemuir 1, Arbroath 0. And Stranraer 3, East Fife 1. The Scottish Division 3, Clyde 1, Elgin City 1. Montrose 2, East Stirlingshire 2. Peterhead 1, Berwick Rangers 1. And Queen's Park 2, Annan Athletic 2. Lastly, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Cliftonville 4, Lisbon Distillery 0. Coleraine 0, Ballina Mallard 0. Donegal Celtic 0, Crusaders 3. Glenavon 3, Dungannon Swifts 1. Linfield 2, Ballymena United 2. And finally Portadown 0, Glentoran 1.
Thanks, Mike. Let's show you how those results affect the top and bottom of the tables tonight. Starting in the Premier League, Manchester United will open up a 10-point lead if they can win tonight's late game. That's against Fulham, while Manchester City play tomorrow against Liverpool. Chelsea remain 6 points adrift of City after losing today. Everton missed the chance to leapfrog Tottenham, but their late equaliser keeps them just above Arsenal in the table. At the wrong end of things, 4 successive draws have left QPR 6 points from safety. Wigan and Aston Villa remain in the relegation zone after failing to hold on to their wins today. In the Championship, Cardiff extend their lead at the top, impressive as it is, to 10 points thanks to that win at Leeds by a goal to nil. Hull draw level on points with Leicester again after winning at Millwall. All in all, no change whatsoever in the top 6 in the Championship. At the bottom, Peterborough looked like they might be leapfrogging Bristol City, but they let their lead slip against Burnley late on. And they drew that match in the end 2-2. Ipswich led up to the 19th, up to 19th after trouncing Middlesbrough. In League One, Tranmere and Doncaster still first and second, but both suffered shock defeats today. Bournemouth pushed and battled Swindon down into 4th after winning easily at MK Dons. At the bottom, Hartlepool still prop up the pile, but after beating Notts County, they're just 2 points behind Portsmouth, who lost again at Fratton Park today. In League Two, Gillingham not in action this weekend. Port Vale returned to the top of the table, courtesy of victory against Accrington. Cheltenham beat Torquay to move into 3rd promotion spot. They leapfrogged Burton, who were held at Wimbledon, and Rotherham climb into a playoff position after victory against Northampton. While Wimbledon's draw not enough to lift them off the foot of the table, but a point was enough to take Plymouth out of the relegation zone. Argyle are replaced by Barnet, who lost at Bristol Rovers last night. In the Blue Square, leaders Grimsby won today. They extend their lead to 3 points over Wrexham, who could only draw at Forest Green. And Ebbsfleet remain rock bottom, but Barrow ascend after grabbing an unlikely win over Norwich conquerors Luton. Strange result that today. And the SPL, not much going on in the SPL today. Hearts up to 8th after their draw with Ross County in today's only game. It's a big day of cup football in Scotland. County stay 3rd bottom. Right, let's get around some of the Premier League games today. We're going to start with a truly crazy game, really, at St James's Park today, where Guy Mowbray was watching Newcastle's comeback against Chelsea. Well, first of all, you're watching Chelsea's comeback against Newcastle, and then Newcastle's comeback against Chelsea. Arguably, Guy, Chelsea scored the best 2 goals of the game, but end up on the losing side.
That's about right, Dan. Yeah, 2 absolutely superb goals from the 2 players who are scoring all Chelsea's goals at the moment, Frank Lampard and Juan Mata. Lampard with a beauty to make it 1-1 after Jonas Gutierrez had headed Newcastle in front with an equally good goal in the first half. And then Mata, quite brilliant, curling one in, 2-1 Chelsea. And at that point you thought, well, I think Newcastle are spent. I can't see them coming back from this. But the man we'll all be talking about tomorrow is one Moussa Sissoko. 2 goals to win the game for Newcastle. They've got some player.
And, Guy, what's the significance of this result for Newcastle? We saw them celebrate when they thought the final whistle had gone, and then the celebrations at the end were actually even bigger at the second sort of final whistle, if you like. Massively significant result, and 2 wins in a week now for them.
Yeah, even the first goal from Jonas Gutierrez to make it 1-0, that seemed to have a little more about the celebration, particularly from the player himself. His first goal of the season, he was looking to the heavens and everybody joining in. And it showed they were really up for this against one of the leading teams in the Premier League. Their wins in recent weeks, they haven't had many wins in recent weeks, but their most recent Premier League wins have come against teams struggling around them. This was a real statement to beat one of the big boys, and it gives them real impetus and lifts them further away from talk of any sort of relegation struggle. But I mentioned Moussa Sissoko, because he only cost 1.8 million. That's the reported fee. And because he only had 6 months left on his contract at Toulouse. And here he is. He's really stepped up today. He looked absolutely superb. I actually think there's more to come from him. Once he gets used to the Premier League, I think he will be a really, really big player. I likened him to Gerrard when we were talking pre-match, and I think there is a bit of Steven Gerrard about him. Never say die, kept on going. He was spent at the end. He could hardly move, but what a 90th minute winner. What a time for Newcastle to get it. And, they'll be all right. I think Alan Pardew was bought really well. He might be the signing of the January transfer window,
Guy, well impressed with Sissoko. Both you two were as well. At one point, Garth, you were talking about how he gave Ashley Cole 3 yards. Ashley Cole, a long time we've said he's one of the fastest defenders in the world, and he burnt Ashley Cole off. We've talked about the positives for Newcastle. What about the negatives for Chelsea today, Garth?
I think the lack of resilience. At 2-1, there was only one team that was going to win the game for me. But it turned, and as Guy Mowbray has quite clearly identified, the fact that Sissoko took his chances, looked like a breath of fresh air for Newcastle, and Chelsea just couldn't handle him. It's as simple as that.
And it's more pressure on Rafa Benitez, who, as Garth said, at 2-1 was thinking, we've taken control of the game, 2 great goals from Lampard and Mata, and yet they've lost again.
They've been excellent the first 20-25 minutes in the second half when they turned the game from 1-0 down to 2-1. They've been absolutely excellent, scored 2 very good goals. And then again, it's a mistake by Cech. He's got to do better. It's a shot. It's going straight down his throat. He either got to catch it. If it palms it, it's got to go to the side. Sissoko with a poacher's finish. And then with a shot from 20 yards, I think it's more like a psychological or a confidence issue with them now, because they lost so many leads. And as I said before, Chelsea, when they were successful, when you were 1 or 2 behind against them, you didn't come back. They won all their games from a winning position. They were the best team in the league. It's completely the opposite now. 2
big points for Howard Webb during the course of the game, turning points. Certainly where Colaccini kicks Barr in the face, doesn't give a penalty. Colaccini stays on the pitch, that's no problem. But when Cisse grabs Cole around the neck, and Cole openly doesn't retaliate and is looking to the referees to do something about it, he doesn't. They're big points.
That could be about half of Match of the Day tonight. 8 games for you this evening. Lineker, Hansen and Keown, 10:30 on BBC One. 20 goals in those 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League for them to have a look at tonight. Tomorrow, it's Colin, Robbie Savage and Alan Shearer who'll guide you through the best bits of an Odin wingy-less West Brom against Tottenham, and Manchester City minus Mario, who play Liverpool. Now, let's hear from some of the players and managers. We'll start with Sean Maloney at Wigan. He scored a last-minute equaliser. He's been speaking to Martin Fisher.
Well, Sean, is there a feeling of relief in that dressing room now?
Yeah, there was at the end. I think obviously going into the last few minutes, getting beat, it's was definitely a point gain today.
Could you believe the chance dropped your way?
You make that run. Most corners, and the majority of times it doesn't come to you. But you make that run just for the odd chance that one drops. And I think it was Sharner that won the header, so it was a pretty important header from him. It
looked as though you didn't catch it perhaps as well as you might have done.
I think it was reasonably close, so I just needed to get anything on it. It was a bit of a relief rather than happiness.
A glance over your shoulder to see the flag hadn't been raised too.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a relief, especially the way the game was going.
What happened in the second half to Wigan? Because it was wave after wave of Southampton attack.
Yeah, no, they definitely played far better than us in the second half. They pressed us high up. We didn't do enough to cope with that, and the ball, pretty much most second balls they won. And yeah, they were far better than us in the second half, and I think that's a disappointing thing.
And given that scenario, is it a sense of a point gained rather than 2 dropped today?
Yeah, definitely. I think if they'd won, they would have opened up a reasonable gap on us. But I think what we're seeing in there, I think, is we do need to look at ourselves. I think first, I know results probably didn't go our way today, but I think we generally need to play a bit better ourselves. I'm worried about that first.
So a late equaliser for Wigan, and it was a late winner once again for Reading. But it was not Adam Le Fondre this time. It was, in fact, Jimmy Kebe. Steve Wilson was watching their game at home against Sunderland. And, Steve, they've done it again. The smiles on the face of Brian McDermott, who you spoke to pre-match. And it's another important late goal and another chance to move up the table for Reading. We don't appear to be hearing much from Steve at the minute. He looks very nice, but I'll talk to you two instead about Reading against Sunderland, because Le Fondre was on the pitch, but it was, as we said, it was Kebe today, and a huge win for Reading, and the momentum you were talking about all afternoon is certainly with them.
Yeah, massive result for them, especially with the teams behind them not winning. Villa giving up a 2-goal lead, so they've got a bit of a cushion there now. They've got 6 points on Queen's Park Rangers, and it's a great delivery for the second goal by Ian Hart. We know what he's capable of, and Kevin's at the right place. He's got 2 very good goals today, and this is a massive game, and they need to win their home games if they want to stay in the division.
Somebody somewhere has pressed a button or found a paper cup that works, and we can now speak to Steve Wilson. Steve, great game. We've had some fantastic matches in the Premier League this afternoon, but I would imagine Reading fans will argue theirs was the most significant. Huge win for them at the bottom of the table.
Huge win, Dan, and they're really on a roll. And actually, when you look at the bottom half of the table and what everybody's done in the bottom half of the table today, if I've got my results right, I think the bottom 8 in the Premier League at start of play have all played, and none of them have lost. And the 3 teams who were below Reading at start of play all drew. So Reading have extended the gap above those bottom 3 now to a couple of points. And importantly, of course, had they not got anything today, then everybody around them was taking points. So Jimmy Kebe, I mean, they played Daydream Believer by the Monkeys at the end. It would have been nice if someone had the undertone greatest hits, and then they could have played Jimmy. But he was terrific today. Sunderland, I don't know, they sit mid-table. I don't know what Sunderland are going to do this season. I mean, they look quite strong at the end of the game. They brought on Danny Graham and played him up front with Fletcher. And I was pleased to see that it was Fletcher and Graham rather than Fletcher or Graham. But they started the game really poorly. It could have been gone by half an hour. Then they were a bit lucky, got a penalty. Pogrebniak with a silly challenge on O'Shea, who was going nowhere. Craig Gardner rattled the penalty home. I would just like to see them play 2 up front, to be honest with you, Dan. They don't provide enough threat for me. I think they're too good to get involved in a relegation battle, but I don't see them being anywhere near the interesting top end of the table either. So I just don't know what their ambitions are at Sunderland. And Reading are absolutely flying at the moment. It was just about a deserved win in what was a really entertaining game. And as you say, for once, it wasn't Le Fondre.
Thanks for that, Steve. And Steve's right about the bottom of the Premier League. No one, hardly anyone in the bottom 7 or 8 losing in the Premier League today. In fact, no one dropping the full points today. Garth, in terms of Aston Villa, though, you can see the positives for Reading, the positives for Wigan. Queen's Park Rangers get a point today as well. But Villa were 3-1 up at Goodison Park, and they finished 3-3. Could have lost it right at the end as well. Do they take the positives away from that? Is that overtly a negative result for them today?
They've got to take the positive. They've got no choice but to take the positives from the game. The difficulty is they can't keep doing this to either Paul Lambert or themselves. They're crucifying themselves. they're playing so well today on the break. They take their chances. Yes, they've been given some good fortune. Hettinka had a terrible game. They took advantage of that. But at 3-1 up, you're expected away from home to win the game. You score 3 goals away from home. They've done it before, and they've missed chances. Having said that, the transfer window is designed for managers to paper over the cracks and get you to the end of the season. What Aston Villa are so desperately missing is somebody with some composure and experience at the back. Why hasn't Paul Lambert got somebody to do that job? Harry Redknapp has.
And it could be the
determining factor. I'm sorry, Paul, that's your job. Why haven't you done that? Because Villa are dying.
He may well point the finger slightly higher up, but there is one man who's done rather well in the transfer market. We mentioned that already, Alan Pardew. You two raised about 3 million talking points from the game against Chelsea today. Alan Pardew will deal with some of them in his post-match interview with Paul Addison.
Alan, quite simply, a stunning result. An unbelievable game, wasn't it? I mean, truly, I can't remember seeing a game as good as that. We were great first half. I thought we deserved perhaps to have the lead. Pappas had a few good chances. But we scored from a good cross from Santon. Second half, they come out and showed why they are what they are, world-class players. And we've suffered 2 unbelievable goals against to find ourselves behind in the game. But we wasn't to be denied, and fantastic end to the game. And Sissoko, I don't really need to say anything. I think his performance said it all.
I hope you can say something about him, because he's an instant hero for the Tyneside faithful, isn't he?
Well, you bring players to the club. I mean, I remember watching him for Toulouse, and I come away that night. This must be 14 months ago or whatever. And I thought he's definitely the one for us if we can get him. And we've watched him and looked at him for a long time, and we'd set our sights on him early, which was a good thing. And then we've accelerated it because he was going to come in the summer, hopefully. But we've had to do it now, and my God, he's paying us back handsomely.
Very happy with the bargain buy of Moussa Sissoko. David Moyes is with Alistair Mann.
Found yourself in the position that you did after the way you played today?
I did. I thought we played well today. We didn't defend well, so and that's part of the game. So it's difficult to say you played well, but I thought our football was good. We tried to keep making chances, which we did do. I thought we'd actually played really well in the first half, but found myself a goal down, then found myself 2-1 down. So that was disappointing, but great credit to the players. You know, they kept going, never gave up, and maybe in the end a little bit unfortunate not to have won the game.
It was a real momentum change when you pulled it back to 3-2. I think everyone around the place thought you might even go on and win it, never mind get a draw. Did you?
Oh, well, I think a lot of people around the place thought we were making the wrong decisions, but thankfully they worked for us and they got us back in the game.
Garth, you said that Johnny Heitinga had a beast today. It wasn't the best defensive performance from Everton, but they got away with a point, and they keep their little run for 4th spot going as well.
If there was ever a performance that warrants the term beast, it was today. Heitinga had an absolute nightmare. He was at fault for all the goals. And it was just too easy. You can make mistakes, but the way he made the mistakes, the way they gave the goals away was just far too easy. No surprise, he did come off, and they pulled them 2 goals. But I guess David Moyes said, I wouldn't call it unfortunate, but they had a chance in the end to make it 4-3. And they've just got the belief now. You've got to take them as serious contenders for a top 4 finish.
Old Trafford next weekend as well.
Yeah, I think they got a draw there last year. The back end of the season 4-4. They've got the belief now. They can go to any ground and get a result. Fellaini coming back into the team last week, scoring 2 goals is a massive boost for them. And they are a serious player. It's a very, very good football side. And as I said before, I think the pitch didn't play into their strength because of a very good football inside. And, you've got to take them serious.
In terms of managers, we've seen a smiling Alan Pardew. We've seen a sort of happy David Moyes. What mood is Brian McDermott in? Not a bad one, I would imagine. He's with Tony Husband.
Brian, done it again, and they say the fans should never leave. I didn't see many people leaving late on today.
No, I hope not. It was a tough game. I thought we started the game well, and I thought we had large amounts of the game with the ball, without the ball, and they've got quality players, and they've scored from a penalty. Our first goal, Jimmy Kebe, excellent goal, and we've talked about Jimmy's prowess in the air in the dressing room, which we thought was quite amusing, but no one was laughing now because it was a great header, great finish.
We've seen bravery from him on Wednesday night and 2 contrasting goals today.
We saw bravery again today. Jimmy's the type of guy, he's brave, he wants to get on the ball, but physically he's brave. That header against Chelsea to create our second goal. And the finish today, Ian Hart's ball into the box was excellent. So it was a tough game, but we're absolutely delighted to get 3 points.
Let's show you some goals. In the Championship, the leaders Cardiff visited Ellen Road to take on Neil Warnock's Leeds. It was watched by Paul Walker.
For Bellamy, nice. And Gunnarsson's ball out to Conway is a good-looking one. And Cardiff have 3 in the box. Conway up against White. Might need a bit of help out there, Conway. He's done well, though, to work space for the cross. Now Smith flicked header, Bellamy working! He scores! Flags up. Won't count. Ball lofted in, good header from Smith, and from that angle there, it does appear that Bellamy is offside. Smith and Connolly on the overlap, does well, in goes the cross, nobody there to meet it. Hooked away, but only as far as Bellamy. Poor clearance from Byram. Campbell! Oh, what a debut for Fraser Campbell! With virtually his first touch since coming on as a substitute, finds the breakthrough. Worst man on the pitch who can give it to is Craig Bellamy. And there was Campbell to make absolutely sure.
1 goal enough for the Championship leaders. Extended highlights from Ellen Road later with Manish, and all the goals from the Football League at midnight for you tonight. More rugby coming your way tomorrow. Italy and France on BBC One at 2:25. That's the final game of the Six Nations opening weekend. If you're that way inclined, the match at Twickenham between England and Scotland is reaching its final stages over on BBC One right now. This time tomorrow, it's time to hit the slopes. Ski Sunday, worth tuning in at 5:45, even if it's just for the theme tune alone. And later, it's off to New Orleans.
I feel like $1 million. I feel simply out of sight. So come on down, I'm throwing a ball tonight. I'm full of the old paprika. I'm loaded with dynamite. So come on down. I'm feeling magnific. I'm throwing a terrific ball tonight.
Front row seats to the most awesome show on earth. Super Bowl 47, Sunday at 11 on BBC 2.
You're a bit of a Super Bowl fan, aren't you, Diddy?
I'll be watching it, yeah.
Who are you going to go for there?
It might be the Ravens, yeah. I think Baltimore will win it.
OK, Garth, any views?
Not one.
Right, OK.
The rugby.
Let's get back to Garth's safe sport, football. Andy Carroll's got his second goal of the season. He's been speaking after the game, their victory over Swansea today to Simon Brotherton.
Well, Andy, I guess you must be relieved to be playing, never mind scoring goals.
Yeah, it's been a long time being injured, but being back on the pitch it's a great feeling, and obviously starting the game today, I was over the moon, and getting through it all was even better.
It strikes me you haven't really had a chance to get going this season at West Ham with one thing and another. How frustrating has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been very frustrating. Obviously, coming into a new team, getting injured, and then having a couple of games back, and then getting injured again for another 8 weeks. It was very hard keeping my head and keeping sane, to be honest. Being in the change rooms and seeing all the lads going out to training, and I've got to go in the gym, in the treatment room. It was difficult, but obviously I'm back now. I've been working hard to stay fit as much as possible, and today I've went out there and got to go and got 3 points. We have.
That's not going to get all the attention today by any means, but still a significant win for West Ham, and they'd won just 1 in their last 9 league matches, and to beat a team like Swansea who've had a fantastic season. Goal from Andy Carroll, bit of confidence for him. It's been a very good day for Sam Allardyce.
Been a very good day. I was there on Wednesday night, I think it was, at Craven Cottage. It was a bad night. They've recovered very well today. Carroll came on that day and joined Cole, and he looked sharp. Today, he looked like someone who was capable of leading the line. My problem for Andy Carroll is he doesn't look an athlete. He doesn't look strong. He doesn't look really, really fit and sharp. And I think he's susceptible to be breaking down. And I think that's a worry for Manchester United and for the player.
Oh, it's been a good day in the Premier League. Manchester United trip to Fulham. A bit to deliver if he's going to live up to the rest of it. Mike Sewell has the team news for the evening game from Craven Cottage.
Yes, Fulham could be forgiven for letting out a collective groan ahead of their second meeting with the Premier League leaders in the space of a week, and their third of the season. Both trips to Old Trafford in League and Cup proved fruitless against the United side, who can move 10 points clear of neighbours City with another victory. If their current form and the 5-0 win in the corresponding fixture last season is anything to go by, an away win looks a likely outcome. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson has shuffled things around
6 changes from the win over Southampton. Ferdinand is back along with Evans, Raphael, Cleverley, Valencia and Nani. Fulham's 2 changes from their win over West Ham are enforced. Berbatov and Sidwell, who are injured, are replaced by De Jager and Baird.
Arguably, this is a huge one, Diddy, for Manchester United. If they go 10 points clear this weekend, deal done?
Not quite. If City win tomorrow, if they keep it at 7 points, 2 respect next week, I think that'll be big. But I think Sir Alex Ferguson thinks exactly as you just said, a very important game because he picked more or less his strongest team. And you've got to fancy them. Fulham got their problems. It's a small ground. It's not an easy ground to go to, but I still fancy United.
I thought Fulham were going to get something today, but no Berbatov, you can forget it.
OK, right. Well, that's ruined it for Fulham fans. That is it for Final Score on BBC Two. Press your red button if you fancy a comprehensive roundup of all today's Premier League games and a final half an hour in the company of these two. Who wouldn't want that? Garth and Diddy Hamann. Mark Chapman will be back at 2:30 on the Red Button HD channel next weekend, so make sure you join him for that. Don't forget Match of the Day tonight as well. But from all of us for the moment, thanks for watching and goodbye.